Hey everybody, Brad Sinclair here, your local realtor looking to earn your real estate business by bringing you local knowledge, representation, and service. And welcome to today's Stop and Chat. So in the Peterborough Examiner, I read a big headline, Stay of Execution for the North Crest Arena. Yes, that really poor rink that we have in the north end of Peterborough is looking to be chopped by city staff and being seriously considered by council. It is a poor state of affairs, this arena. But on the other hand, it's an arena that if we take away, we're just losing ice surface, and that's not good for anybody. Now, the city has been talking for years and years and years about building a new twin pad arena. It's been talked about having it at Trent University. Now it's being talked about having it at Sir Sandford Fleming College. And now we're also looking to get some provincial and federal funding that may or may not happen. So when this come up on the docket for council last week to either the North Crest Arena or keep it open, people like Council Stephen Wright fought to defer this to see if they can come up with a solution for extra funding because it is going to be $1.4 million to keep this rink open for the next 3 years, stated by city staff. Also, Wright stated to keep the community down one recreational facility doesn't make sense. And I have to agree with him. Even though the North Crest Arena is really an old rink, it's an ice surface. And I've been one that has been critical about that ice surface. But that said, an ice surface is an ice surface. And closing them doesn't make sense if you don't have one open, ready to be opened. Staff certainly pointed out that they have put nothing in this 2020 budget to keep this arena open. So it's something that the funds are going to have to come from somewhere. What they want to do now is to defer this to see if user groups can come up with the money. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that user groups are going to be able to come up with $1.4 million. This is why arenas and community centers are community, because of the high cost of operations. It's just typically not feasible for all costs for arenas to be absorbed by the user groups, because then it just becomes cost prohibitive. But you also got to keep in mind that just because on the balance sheet says that there is a loss, doesn't mean that it is a loss to the community. There's spin-off revenues that doesn't show up in that column, and that includes tournaments, which brings in outside dollars for hotels, restaurants, gas. Keeping these businesses running throughout the wintertime helps with the tax base. Councillor Clark, he said that he just can't see how user groups can come up with the money, and I have to agree with him. But then he also said, but the city doesn't have the money either. How doesn't the city have the money to operate its arenas? How is the city going to build a new arena when they can't even afford to keep one open? There's some scary questions going on with that, to be honest with you. How are we going to be able to afford a new twin pad arena when you can't even keep a single pad arena open? So ultimately, we have to decide as a community what is important for our values. Are we going to keep their rinks open and fund them so that we can have recreation for our children, for our seniors, and for our citizens, and bring in extra revenue into the city via tournaments and games? Or are we just going to look at that line item, say it's an easily slashed item, let's slash this, let's cut this, then we don't have to worry about it? I don't think that is a viable option.